On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out what the taste buds do when no shows come out, how Spider-Man the Animated Series does at adapting to The Amazing Spider-Man #1, and how Books does at hosting this podcast. All of that and more on the all-new episode of the Superhero Show. Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every live-action TV show based on a comic book. I'm your master of chaos, McKenna. Katelynn is also here, and we have another friend here, Ryan. But before I let any of you speak, I just want it to be known that I have officially taken over on a lot of roles. 1, host of the Superhero Show. 2, Katelynn, I'm taking your title, Master of Chaos, and I want to know how that feels.
How does it feel? That feels like the most chaotic thing you've possibly ever done. So I feel attacked in a lot of ways, but I'm okay with it for now. But I will find a way to get you back.
I highly doubt that. All right, Ryan, cutting to you in a very chaotic manner. Do you think I can pull this off? Can I be more chaotic than Katelynn?
More chaotic than Katelynn on this episode?
Yes.
Probably. In general, in life, like from here on out, absolutely not. Like
I'm setting realistic goals. Today, just this moment.
This is what we call a Superhero Junior. This is a shorter show. I think you can make it last for like 25 minutes. After that, no. You're just going to be like, oh, this is exhausting.
I think I would genuinely physically shut down.
Yeah.
I don't have the capability to run on Snickers and gummy worms like Katelynn does. So
I think my diet is really what makes me chaotic, and I think that's the pinpoint. So, I mean, if you take all the food away, I guess you can do it.
There's a secret, too.
You know what? You could probably do it after Katelynn turns 40. You can take over it because that diet, she'll be dead at 40. So then you can...
Then I live till 80 on the Katelynn diet, fulfilling the chaotic needs. Honestly, though, I don't think I even have 40 plus years of Katelynn diet. It would take me out a lot sooner than that. All right. Katelynn.
Yep. That's
any
me.
Other advice on being chaotic?
And besides completely changing your diet, you just need to, anytime like anything comes up in your brain, just need to say it, and you need to do it, no filter, and then act upon it. Like you think of a thing like jump, just jump. Don't jump off a building, but jump like really high, because you can.
Mixed signals here. I feel like if you're on a building and your brain
you jump up, you jump up, but you don't off.
I feel like you live a very complicated life.
You got to maybe jump kick. I think that's the best way to do it. Jump kick your way through the life.
What is your finger strength to Mack? Because Katelynn will jump up off like right next to ledges, obviously fall down them, but catch herself on those fingers, and she does that like action hero lift myself back up with those. If you don't have incredibly tough knuckles, I wouldn't do it. That's why we call Katelynn Tough Knuckles.
It's how she and now the secret is revealed. That's how she earned the nickname. I have very strong fingers, but I have carpal tunnel. So like would work for half a second, then I'm falling.
Wow. Right. You're gonna need some good braces, like wrist braces up in here.
Just constantly wrapped up.
I'm gonna put this whole show, probably at least this intro, under protest. I'm filing it right now. You guys can hear me typing. Because you did something that nobody's ever done before. And I do not want this out. I especially don't want Cassie hearing this, where you just said our names quickly and then said, "Don't talk, I will continue." No one's thought of that. I think it's devastating, and I want it stricken from the record.
What is even more brilliant is you listened. I felt so powerful in that moment. It
was just so chaotic. No one was ready for it.
No, yeah. I mean, it blindsided me. But also, like, what am I if not a stickler for the rules? Like, you didn't turn my mic off or anything. I just sat there patiently because you said I had to.
I said don't talk. I thought what I honestly was going to start asking Katelynn immediately how she felt about me taking gas. And then I was like, what would be more chaotic if I just let myself ramble a bit more? I pulled a Katelynn. I had a thought and I ran with it.
Wow. And then you jump kicked
And then
your
I
way
jump
through life?
kicked. Yeah, and it's only going to last for 25 minutes, but I am determined to make this last for every minute of those 25 minutes.
Just to defend my honor as a talker and a rude boy, the people at home don't know this, but I was holding up signs like Wile E. Coyote with all the words that I would be saying if I was allowed to talk. I think that should count for something.
It was impressive. I think you're challenging Tough Knuckles over here with your writing speed. Like, you've obviously got some finger strength there.
It fucking sucks because when I walk off a cliff, my job is to get my sign up, like yikes or whatever, and then I just fall. Katelynn doesn't have the sign, so she just knuckles onto the ledge.
Everyone's role in life is not always fair, but
true.
It does seem like you got the shortest end of the stick. Well, now you know who's here and who's most likely going to cut them off from speaking. But what we're actually going to talk about today is Spider-Man, the animated series. This is the season finale of episode 1, or season 1 finale. There's some words here somewhere. And this one is titled something about a chameleon.
The Day of the Chameleon.
The Day of the Chameleon. Thank you, Ryan.
No
You weren't
problem.
holding up your sign fast enough, so I didn't have words to go off of. We're going to get into that when we come back. Welcome to S Tasmania, bitch, a mini show within a show covering the seminal and underrated cartoon of the mid-90s. Where we pick up, we start at an airport where a man is just trying to get through a customs line, but he is stopped by a group of armed people run in and hold him at gunpoint. But this man is able to escape.
And it's just like, TSA, settle down, right?
Bit extreme.
God.
He's got somewhere to go. What if he had to poop? Like, my God, just let this man through.
TSA does not care if you want to poop, but they do know because of those x-rays. They can see it all sitting inside of there.
Also, this is like pre-2001. Did they even have TSA back then?
I don't think so, dude. You can seriously just run onto a plane, say, I'm the pilot, and fly it anywhere you want.
It's also just like a very lax, like they just look like those fold-up tables that they're all just getting their bags checked on. They're,
I can't remember, though. Like, can you guys are like 2 months older than me. Do you remember flying before 9/11?
I don't think I did.
I definitely did, but I don't remember it.
I think it used to be so like you would get there 10 minutes before your plane took off and you were fine.
Wow.
Your family could like walk you up to the gate.
Never been there. Never done that. But this, I mean,
it was a time, and apparently, you could get away with stuff because this man escapes those armed people trying to stop him from leaving the airport with a weapon-wielding bag, just a full-on missile gun. Pops out of this bag at a pop of a press of a button, and he shoots at them, and he manages to escape. And he's running through this airport, and he reveals he has these chameleon-like powers. Surprise!
Oh,
surprise.
now I get the name.
It all makes sense.
Chameleon-like.
Literally, the moment he changed, like he shapeshifts and he uses his really cool belt to do that, I was like, oh, I get it. Chameleon. He blends into surroundings.
Now, I believe at first I was pissed because this is not how the chameleon works in the comic books, and that's nothing will upset nerds more than that, other than the lack of a woman's touch. But I do get it because in the comic books, he spends a lot of time creating masks of people, and that's what that's his power. And so it would be terrible if he was like, shit, another person, go into the supply closet, spend 4 hours on a new mask, then run out. That person's gone. So
It's
that
like the
mask is now a
least
waste of time.
effective superhero a comic
He's
book
just a really
or a
good
villain that a comic book has ever written.
He would just be a good artist at that point. He's not even.
Go work
he's
for
a good.
Madame Tussauds. Stop trying to ruin world peace.
Well, I guess that's a good thing that S.H.I.E.L.D. did then is they made him. It made it for the times, I guess.
But he's not a mutant or an alien, right? So
He just got a good belt.
So he got that good belt. And we didn't have to go through the story of like Jafar found him in a prison. He had to go in the Cave of Wonders.
He
then
was
he gets
on
the
a
belt.
safari.
As far as we know, everyone's just like, get that guy who has that fucking belt.
But we're only going to notice the belt when it's too late. When we're stopping everybody. Never going to notice he has a belt or not. This man uses his chameleon powers. He is the chameleon. He morphs into a pilot and he steals a full-on helicopter, which honestly, pretty brilliant escape. The team that
but you're just taking their face though, right?
Yeah, do you have the skills?
Yeah, I don't think you have the skills.
That's the thing. He gets all these damn skills. He clearly doesn't know how to fly the helicopter.
Yeah,
well,
true. It's not great.
I would say you just looking like a pilot, not enough to fly one, as we quickly learn, because the team follows them in their own copters. They chase him down, and he crashes into an abandoned building. So
Spider-Man points out to the audience, good thing that was an abandoned building.
has to clarify, people aren't dying in the animated series.
But how much better would it be if a plane or a helicopter crashed into a building in New York, starts to fall down, people are jumping out from the top? Like, wouldn't that have been like so much more harrowing?
Dramatic.
Crazy.
That does not happen, fortunately. Spider-Man is able to get this man out of his failed crashed helicopter just before it explodes. Drops him on the ground, which of course is he'll be surrounded by a bunch of New Yorkers who are just watching this dramatic unfolding. And then just as he's about to detain this Chameleon guy, which, do we ever learn how Spider-Man realizes he's a bad guy?
He doesn't. Spider-Man's like, why are you running away? I literally just saved you. Puts him down on the ground. The guy starts running away. So I think it's just he's suspicious, and Spider-Man's like, what the hell, man?
And Spider-Man's used to this. Like, no matter who he saves, they run away
They
screaming.
always run away from him.
No, thank you. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Spider-Man can't stop him because he has to, of course, rescue some window washers that are also victims to this. There's always a window washer.
The most dangerous job in the Marvel Universe. Fucking don't get that job.
You will always be... You know what, though? You almost always live, and you've got a cool story out of it. So maybe...
That's true.
Do get that job, because... You get rescued multiple times by superheroes. So yeah, while Spider-Man's catching these window washers and saving the people on the ground who are standing under falling buildings, the Chameleon does manage to escape. Then we cut to Peter Parker, who's no longer Spider-Man nor worried about this escaped man, because he's back at his work chasing down Mr. Jameson because he really wants to photograph the peace treaty signing. And
who doesn't?
Honestly... That's ultimate goals. You could photograph superheroes all day long, but peace treaty signings.
Did either one of you guys major in journalism?
No.
Okay, I thought you did. I was wrong. I thought that it was like cool to like be there at the time and take pictures of stuff that nobody's ever seen before. At the peace treaty, they're sitting there signing things. I could take that picture. Anyone could take that picture. Why is this a good job?
For some
That's
reason,
what I was thinking.
Peter Parker thinks this is going to win him a Pulitzer.
That's not true, though.
It's so bizarre. It's not a groundbreaking. It's a photo that everyone else is also going to be able to take.
Yes.
And there's a photographer from every single outlet is able to send a photographer. So
somehow,
all those photographers are going to get one.
His is going to be fancier.
And there's already going to be a photographer from where he's at. Why can't I think of it? The Bugle?
Yes.
Daily Bugle.
Jesus.
So, but it's very important to Peter Parker that he gets this job because this is how he's going to win his Pulitzer. So he chases Mr. Jameson down. Mr. Jameson has to go get his tux fitted for the party that's happening that evening for this peace treaty signing. Seems a little last minute. A little.
Well, this show follows in the footsteps of the OC 10 years before the OC came out, where there's a gala every night. Mm-hmm. Every episode, you need a gala.
And you need a new suit, obviously, a new tuxedo for every single one.
I think Jonah Jameson has like gone to so many parties already in the amount of episodes that I've seen, like just this first season. Because wasn't he previously planning like his daughter's like party or something like that? He was planning a big party beforehand. Like, I do not think this is our first big party that he has gone to.
Oh,
he should have a suit.
Felicia Hardy's mom is always throwing parties. That's been like half the episode so far. Is that another untalked about pink tax? Is that it's disgusting if women wear the same outfit to two different parties, but boys can literally wear the same boring bullshit to everything they go to?
That
1,000%.
Absolutely. One of my husband constantly complains, one, that I need to buy a dream dress for every like wedding we go to, and two, that my dresses have taken up like a fourth of my closet. Even though I wear them,
you have the reverse
once.
husband of everybody else.
Yeah.
Most husbands are like, you don't need another dress, sew two of those together. And he's like, no, madame, I will buy you a new one and a carriage to go with it.
He's supportive in that way, but he also is like frustrated with like, why do you need? He's like, who cares? It's a standard. It's a bullshit double standard.
Who cares? You do. You told me.
Society does.
God, we finally found one double standard between men and women. We
Wow.
found one.
We've made groundbreaking history. It does exist. So yeah, Jameson apparently needs another tuxedo. He's living the women's standard life. He wore his, other one to the last gala 2 nights ago. He's got to get a new one. So,
or Mac, maybe you're being insensitive. And Jameson, at his age, is growing a lot of weight and just has to keep getting that tux like let out every time.
Maybe
there's a new
that's
party.
what it is.
What if he just got like a fat ass now? So he just needs to get those pants like fitted for that thick ass.
Maybe he's got a really stressful job. So maybe he like drops the weight really fast and then gains it really fast. So it's like every other gala.
Oh,
he has to have it
buy
resized.
2 tuxes then, dude.
Yeah.
I've got 2 sides of my closet, feeling skinny, feeling fat. And I have different Blink-182 t-shirts on both sides. That's how you're supposed to do it.
I just packed away in vacuum seal bags all my feeling skinny clothes because...
in order to see if Jameson has a fat ass, we are going to need Apocalypse to come and knock him down towards the camera. Like we did Rogue. And then we just got to see that badunk.
That's
Put
the
him
only
next to
way
Rogue.
find out. And then it'll justify his need for new tux fittings every single time. So he goes off in a limo, and Peter Parker jumps in with him to like pitch his need to photograph this peace treaty signing. And as they're driving off, we see the Chameleon change his appearance to Mr. Jameson to sneak into his office.
Which in this limo, of course, the limousine driver turns around and is like, yeah, I'm kidnapping you because Jameson gets handcuffs on. And Peter doesn't have anything.
My first thought is that's the Chameleon, right? No.
Yeah.
No.
There's so many fucking villains here.
There's so many different, there's people. I will say, though, the cuffs come out and they like out of the armrests. All of a sudden, Peter Parker and Jameson are just handcuffed to their seats.
Yes.
Did Peter even
brilliant
get
fucking
handcuffed? I don't remember seeing Peter get handcuffed. I only saw Jameson. I thought Peter
did.
was free.
Peter
Free
does
Peter.
get handcuffed, and he's super shady towards Mr. Jameson because Mr. Jameson is like reasonably freaking out as this limo turns into a spaceship and kidnaps the two of them. And Peter Parker is sitting there like, well, I guess I better be the rational one of the two of us and stick around.
Peter's like, oh, so this episode began then? Okay. Here we go.
Fucking asshole over here, Peter.
He's so judgmental of Mr. Jameson being like, who are you? Where's my limo driver? Where are we going?
And how did Jameson not look at him and say, like, Peter, did you need to go to the tailor to get that one fucking sweatshirt and wear every day?
Every day. Also, can we talk about, like, this was the 90s. You had, like, a higher standard of dress. Like, now casual offices are much more common. How the fuck did he get away in his, like, cotton tricolor sweatshirt?
I think he's a freelance photographer.
But that's why he's a freelance photographer. He won't put a fucking suit on.
That's right. Fucking Peter.
Peter Parker.
God damn it. Put a suit on.
So they get taken up in this aircraft, the spaceship, up to like a satellite spaceship that's just hovering above New York City.
It's called the helicarrier.
Yeah. But they don't show it
that.
with like the fancy S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier like
There's no
shields
S.H.I.E.L.D.
on
logos on it.
Yeah. Well, and it's also not blending in with the sky as far as we know. It's just hanging out there. Right.
This was
above the
long
city.
before we came up with all of the cool stuff that S.H.I.E.L.D. can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is when S.H.I.E.L.D. just had a basic satellite. Just the basic one. And they dump Peter Parker into a nice little casual holding space. And they take Mr. Jameson off to an unknown location. And
I love the respect that you're showing JJJ. Like, you're not calling
Mr. Jameson.
Mr. Jameson.
Yeah. J3.
JJ.
J cubed, I love.
I didn't even realize that. I have, it was like really important to my parents that I always address elders by their name that they prefer. Apparently that's still ingrained in me. It took me years to not answer the phone the way they taught me as a child, so I'll work on breaking that one next.
Which is, what do you want?
How did they teach you?
I had to answer the phone. The Cummings residence, may I ask who's calling? Every single time. Every single
I answered it, it was something like the Haley taxidermy. You stuff them, you muff them, we stuff them. I don't remember. You know what? I probably shouldn't have even started that sentence. You kill them, we fill them.
You kill him, we kill him. Oh, there we. Now it's all coming back.
Beautiful. What a great. I honestly might teach my son to answer the phone that way, just on an off chance that it's family that I don't want to talk to or a telemarketer. It's great for both. All right, so Peter's separated from Jameson, Jonah, and
Perfect.
when he goes out to investigate where he is, he discovers that they're again hovering above the city, and he discovers JJ with none other than the previously thought to be dead Nick Fury.
Now, did this fuck
Colonel
you guys
Nick
up?
Fury.
Did this what?
Yeah.
Fuck you guys up? That
Absolutely.
Nick Fury looks a little different.
Yeah, I was like, you're not Nick Fury. You're white as fuck.
Oh, I was like, whoa, his eye patch is on the wrong side.
Yeah.
That's what I was
That's what
thinking.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Caitlin's like, this is a fucking trash cartoon. If they don't address this, I'm going to be furious.
That's why they call him Fury.
He infuriates
But-
everyone else.
Don't worry. That's like literally the first thing he fucking addresses is the fact that the eye patch is on the wrong side. And
Yeah.
what a hack Jameson is, which I appreciate Nick Fury for doing.
He drives
You know the
straight
people with
into
eye
insulting
patches,
him.
like they turn that into their entire personality. Like, yes, we know you have an eye patch, but
He needed everyone to know, though, when you put me in the obituary, how dare you fucking flip my picture so everyone thinks that my eye patch is on the
the
other
wrong
side? That's not even me. That's not me. I'm not dead. That person's dead.
I do want to point out though that like this was a really high tech eye patch that was made by Apple and it does all this crazy stuff. So it's actually called an eye patch.
No.
Yeah.
Good to
Lowercase
know.
I.
Good to know.
Lowercase I.
So Nick Fury reveals he's not actually dead, and then he reveals like all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secrets to the biggest journalist in New York City, and the biggest like blabbermouth too. And he's like, the only reason I'm telling you all this is because there's this villain called the Chameleon working with terrorists who's already destroyed like a bunch of ambassador events, and is out to stop this peace treaty signing, and you need to be aware.
I mean, the Chameleon is a terrorist, like, and just to the highest bidder. But before we realize that he gets paid, it really seems like he is just going to random places on the map to fuck shit up. Like at one point, he's at Sarajevo, fuck that shit up. Paris, fuck that shit up.
Which honestly is how most villains seem to operate.
Yeah.
So, especially in the S.H.I.E.L.D. universe, like I wasn't fazed by that whatsoever.
But the choice of a peace treaty to blow that up is like, how about a non-peace, non-treaty? Like, it's a good idea.
No one's
Like,
signing shit here. Peace
No
for
peace.
one. Yeah, so he reveals what the Chameleon is up to. JJ does not seem too concerned. He's like, we've got police.
He also
FBI.
really trusts J3 with way too much because
Yeah.
he gives him a pin. And he's like, it's your job now to identify the Chameleon. This Nick Fury has been like, I have all these super people under my belt, but I need this normal shit journalism person, which I have already said he's a shit journalist. And, but he's going to be the person that points out the Chameleon for me.
He's going to be the one who identifies that something's off with his staff, even though he can't even identify that Peter Parker is Spider-Man working for him.
Or he's not worried because he actually thinks Spider-Man is great and knows Spider-Man's going to handle it. That might be the case. I do want to point out something, though. This is for you two and all our listeners. If you guys ever want somebody, like a child or a grown man, to do something that you want them to do, ask them to do it. They'll say no, and then say, I'll give you this badge. And then they'll be like, hell yeah, I will. I've been deputized.
Oh, no.
Give
I
you
just
a
need to keep
semblance
badges
of
in my
fake
pockets
power.
now.
Really, it is. That's how girls end up running the world. We just give men.
It's like stickers.
Girls are empowered because they keep saying, yeah, buddy, it's a badge. And that's how you do
You
it.
get a title. You get to be the hero. So meanwhile, they're up in a satellite above New York City, and the Chameleon has snuck into Jameson's office, and he's taking photos. That Jameson has just a binder of all of his staff with pictures of them, just
Cool.
casually in his office. And the Chameleon is using this to his advantage, and he's taking photos of each of these staff members, including Peter Parker, so he can use their likeness to, obviously navigate the party. I have one concern about this, though. Each of these photos is just from like mid torso up.
It doesn't show belts?
So, like,
It doesn't show below the belt. What if they got a donk? He doesn't know.
what if?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jameson demands torso up so you don't see his fat fucking ass. That won't stop growing.
But now Chameleon's not going to know if you've got a fat fucking ass, and he's just going to put regular ass legs on his body.
That Jameson is well built. Yeah.
That Jameson's hitting the gym. Look at him. I'm just saying, it's a flawed plan. It seems to work out for the Chameleon, but it definitely has some flaws.
And I think it also works out for us, if I may, because what we have, this is after they get home, right? They're back in the office?
Yeah, they come back like right as he's in the office.
Okay, and so Jameson's like, or Chameleon Jameson's like, give me those files. And then real Jameson's like, I already gave you those files. And they keep walking in and out of doors of the same room.
Yep.
And guys, we are in a Frasier episode in the middle of an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series. I wish there was a laugh track in just this one scene of like, who is who?
Yeah. Chameleon walks in as Jameson, yells at his secretary. Jameson enters, and the Chameleon, some other journalist or photographer or something that works for him.
That's Glory Grant.
Oh, Glory Grant.
Who is now, because Chameleon at one point takes over Glory Grant. So Betsy Brandt, it was his secretary. Now it's Glory Grant. It doesn't matter what the names are as long as they're stupid, according to comic books.
Yeah.
And this Glory Grant is voiced by Nell Carter. Nell Carter, folks. We remember her from sitcoms in the 80s?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go back and forth because she was on like 5 sitcoms.
Okay.
McKenna then Katelynn. We'll see name the Nell Carter sitcoms.
Okay.
Matt, go ahead.
Sitcom from the 80s.
That she was on.
It was the Brady Bunch, right?
Okay.
Family
Mostly
Matters.
the 70s?
Was that in the 80s? That was the 90s, huh?
That was okay. This has gone terribly.
So sorry.
I will conclude the Nell Carter conversation with saying I can't remember a single name of it. But there were a lot of them.
I was starting to feel like reasonably guilty for a microsecond. So thank you very much. All right. So Jameson returns. He's now with his secretary. She's trying to hand him files. He's saying those files were already handed to me. What the fuck are you doing? And meanwhile, the Chameleon escapes. But fortunately, Spider-Man and his spider senses go off, and he's able to realize that the Chameleon's present, and Jameson also realizes and presses his little badge pin.
I love that the reason that they realize that, like, the only way that they can tell that the Chameleon is a chameleon is because the spider sense. But they don't realize the fucking huge ass belt that is on this dude in every scene. And so how we know that he's a chameleon, like, no one sees it.
Spider-Man at one point is like, oh, my spider sense, I'll have to rely on that. And then some S.H.I.E.L.D. schlub, probably
Yes.
making minimum wage, is running through the hall saying on his like comm, look at the belt buckle.
Yes.
Just look at the belt buckle, you will find him.
And none of them still do that. None of them do that. I also love that when JJ realizes that the Chameleon's there, he has this look of like, I can't tell Peter Parker what's going on, but he like subtly touches the badge pin.
Yeah.
Like, it's a secret that I'm even pressing this button here.
Do you guys see what I'm talking about dudes?
He takes it with such honor. It with such honor.
He's basically now a superhero himself, and he hates
That's
Spider-Man,
what he thinks.
but he really likes this position that he is in. So Chameleon's running through his office, dressing up as different people. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents manage to stop all of the employees, but not the Chameleon ever. Spider-Man, however, does manage to catch this the Chameleon as he's escaping down the stairs, but the Chameleon sprays a nice little
This is his other power that we haven't talked about. He's got this belt, but also a nonstop like supply of goo gas that will knock people out immediately.
Yeah.
Which, because his power is so terrible, people are going to be like, oh, wait, I figured it out. You're the Chameleon. He's like, fuck. And then knocks him out.
And then just disappears and can change into someone else. And that's about the halfway point of our episode. So we're going to go to a quick break. And when we return, we're going to see if they ever manage to stop catching each other and finally catch the Chameleon.
I doubt it.
And we return, but we don't return just the three of us. We return with someone who has equally super and awesome powers, just as the Chameleon does. We have a special guest to join us on this last half of this episode, and it's Greg.
Oh, you guys, you were just talking about how great the Chameleon is and how great the Chameleon's powers are, and I'm just like that. Thank you so much.
And now you're here, yeah.
Now you're here.
Mac, let's not cut again, because we can't afford to have another villain in the studio come back with us.
You don't want to just add more? That's been my chaotic plan for this whole episode, was if I just cut and slowly sneak in more supervillains, how chaotic would this episode be?
Mac is chaos now, Greg.
Chaos incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
And Katelynn is, what do we call it, neutral?
Yeah.
I just got Knuckles. I just got mad Knuckles, man.
Let's not catch Greg up on the stuff all the listeners already know.
That's all you need to know.
I'll just figure out who has Knuckles as we go along.
Yes.
Let us know if you make any breakthroughs on that. But we do have to get back to our episode. We left off where the Chameleon was escaping the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Peter Parker. Not before he escapes as Peter Parker and plants a kiss on Mary Jane, just as a little drive-by.
Here we go. Let's talk about it. This is disgusting. And this is like, we'll get back to this later in the episode. They address it, but not in like a way that it, I mean, this is you can't do this to people.
This is assault.
No. Yes.
That's assault, brother.
But MJ, she likes it, but also like, she also addresses the fact that she doesn't like the fact that he did it, but then does like it. It's just
that's not the
good.
problem here, Katelynn. It's
without consent. It was bad.
It's the lack of consent.
I don't think we should go
There was
off
no
of
consent.
like whether or not she approves as the standard, because she's also pursuing Peter Parker, who's the shittiest boyfriend that a cartoon has ever seen.
This particular cartoon. Because he is in it a lot.
He is in it a lot. Yeah, he's the lowest standard. When your standard is Peter Parker. In this,
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't Mary Jane too hot to have good taste in men?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like those things are like almost never co-present.
She tipped that scale.
Yeah. Once you get a certain degree hot, your taste in men is just like the worst possible.
The worse, the better.
Yeah, the more they abandon you during important
Neck
events.
tattoo. Whoa, hang on.
So Chameleon gets the MJ kiss, but Peter never gets that MJ kiss.
No.
And Chameleon, he's already a villain, so he's going to do this anyways.
He does run off in a suave way, because she's like, what makes you think you could do that? He's like, because I'm the luckiest guy in New York. And he just runs through the door.
Yeah. Plus, at the end, like the post-credit scene was Chameleon texting Peter, just saying, I kissed MJ. So I guess that was worth it.
I got you, girl.
Didn't
get that.
Didn't
get that peace treaty.
Does MJ figure out that she kissed the Chameleon?
No.
Because, like, what if she's always like, Peter, remember there was this one time you kissed me? And you've never quite kissed me that way again. But could you kiss me like you're a supervillain?
Can you kiss me upside down like you're a supervillain?
Well, how about this? Could you kiss me? Period. Like, just kiss me. Like, that villain did that one time, and I didn't even know it was a villain.
The one time you made a move, and
then you stood me up on our date, because she invites him to her play,
which
she said she had a seat
that night and is performing in that night.
What if MJ is not? Maybe acting is not her future. I know that she goes to modeling pretty soon, the acting of non-talking, and I think that might be right, because they're doing a Southern version of Midsummer Night's Dream. And I don't know why, but she's dressed in a big Civil War costume, reading Shakespeare or reciting Shakespeare. It's not good.
It's not good, but listen, she obviously just learned the role, because she literally comes to tell Peter Parker, I got the part, the show's tonight.
And then in the middle of a very important scene in the play, she looks at his empty chair, which apparently, I guess, that's an MJ thing, because she also does that in Spider-Man 2?
You can just see through all the stage lights and find the one empty seat that your boyfriend was supposed to be.
There's a sign on it that says Peter Parker was supposed to sit here, but he did not. And so while this actor is talking to her, she's thinking, motherfucking Peter Parker, goddammit.
Yep.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, she's not focused on her dialogue whatsoever. Bad acting right there. She's not in the role. No complete method here. Just thinking
obviously
about Peter Parker.
this would be totally wrong, but imagine Peter Parker and the Chameleon join sides, and the Chameleon shows up to the play as Peter Parker.
There you go.
And every time Peter Parker needs to be Spider-Man, he doesn't have to miss his MJ dates.
Exactly. The Chameleon's there to fill in.
This, I feel like this is multiplicity, but better.
Whole new Spider-Man part. So MJ's performing some very bad Shakespeare on a stage in a very bad costume. And the party that JJ's hosting for these two very important, like, I guess, foreign dignitaries. Why is a newspaper hosting this? Like,
there's a bunch of VIPs there.
Party.
All I understood from this party is there are VIPs there, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is watching over, and Chameleon wants to get in here. It was very kind of confusing,
And
but I
it's happening
accepted
on
it all.
like, the bottom floor of his office building.
Yeah, I accepted it all, though. I was like, okay, all right.
Like Katelynn is watching television correctly. Like this all barely crossed my mind, but why would it? Like MJ is in her costume. She's there reciting Shakespeare at this dignitary party. Who fucking cares?
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, the Animaniacs are running in the background. Doesn't matter.
I watch shows very incorrectly. So the party's happening. The Chameleon breaks into like the 38th floor,
shit.
and Spider-Man catches this all happening. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are aware, and so they all jump in after him and run to chase him and stop him. But the Chameleon decides to imitate Peter Parker, or not Peter Parker, Spider-Man this time. And all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents manage to do is catch Spider-Man and not the Chameleon.
And at one point, he's like pleading, like, this would be so much easier if we all like went after the Chameleon, right? And they're like, fuck you, and they shoot their lasers at him.
And he's like, do I have a belt? Guys, I don't have a belt. Leave me alone. They don't care.
And then they are like, well, that's true, you don't, but that costume doesn't make sense because sometimes it's a onesie, but sometimes it's a twosie, and you lift your shirt up. So, like, where is your belt?
We're equally upset about this, and we want to detain you as well.
Fuck you, laser.
But realizing the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just keep fucking this up, Nick Fury decides that it's time for him to step in and come on down, leave his nice little satellite hovercraft, and come essentially just fix things, which he probably should have done ages ago because this man has escaped and bombed multiple like foreign affairs events. This is not the first time, but he finally decides to step in.
But he's not a terrorist, though, Mac. He works for the American government. That's two very different things.
So he has...
Yeah, like, well, Nick Fury can sort of just bomb whatever country,
Yeah.
and it's super fine, but Chameleon does it, and it's like, we have to get that Chameleon.
Yeah, but Nick Fury could have just stepped in and bombed him ages ago, and he only does it after like the sixth time his agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have fucked up. Like, he gives them a lot of chances.
But what I'm saying is Nick Fury was busy bombing poor other countries.
Oh, you're right. He had other work to do because he does work for the U.S. government. So, and he also doesn't work for, because like half the government doesn't even know he exists. So he gets away with a lot more than should be allowed. So the Chameleon runs off, and they decide that it's time for these ambassadors to leave the party up in a helicopter because things are getting dangerous. And so Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. team, they all escort these foreign dignitaries up through the building and up to the helicopter pad that's just on the top of the building. And
There is no security for these doppelgangers. You know there's a doppelganger running around, the Chameleon, and there is no one being like double checking like before they get on the helicopter. Is this so and so? There's only like 5 people.
Too. It's not like you need to
people.
find the double. You just need to spot the Veld, which is always in plain view because he needs to be able to take pictures of his next victim. So he can
I was
escape
wearing
the
a
scene.
belt earlier.
So no one seems to notice but Spider-Man that it is not in fact Nick Fury leading these foreign leaders away, but the Chameleon once again has snuck into.
Mac, is it Spidey
How do
sense?
they know?
How would he know?
How can he tell? There's obviously no way other than his spider sense that he just figures it out. But when he tries to stop them, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just completely kidnap him, handcuff him, stop him, hold him hostage from moving forward. And it takes a long while for him to convince them that he is in fact just a good guy trying to help out. Because even
how does he do it? How does he do it? Because freaking the bad picture, the reverse
Chekhov's eye patch.
Yes.
the eye patch. That's
It's
the
gonna
only
come
way
to
we
play.
know. The eye patch is switched. And that's the only way that we know that
because
that
he
is
went
the
off
Nick
of a
Fury.
photo of Nick Fury in which Jameson reversed in his obituary.
And everyone is screaming, It's the eye patch. Like, they pass it along. The eye patch is different. The eye patch is wrong. The eye patch is different. And then there's one guy who's like, also, Nick Fury's white. That's weird. And then everyone's like, no.
They're like, okay.
He's supposed to be white. Get the fuck out of here.
The Chameleon, realizing he's caught by this poorly placed eye patch, dives into the helicopter, which he has proven he's not the most skilled at flying, and takes off. Just in time for the real Nick Fury to arrive. The agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
we haven't talked about S.H.I.E.L.D. lady yet, who I don't believe gets a name. But
No.
should be like a real character. I don't know who this is or who it's based on from the comic books, but Nick Fury has a second in command that should be Maria Hill or somebody, but I think this is way before Maria Hill was invented. But she is a little more aggressive, a little more hawkish, let's say. Let's just fucking shoot everybody and ask questions later.
Yeah.
And the helicopter flies away, and she pulls her gun out to shoot, but she runs and it's She-Ra. It is just, I'm pulling my gun, and then screams and blasts this helicopter to hell.
Yeah, she just shoots chaotically. She is very much the aggressive, like, I'm just going to go for it.
She thinks Nick Fury is a bitch.
She's like, I'm going to handle this my way.
We get a second helicopter down, but this time in water instead of a building.
And that fucking disgusting New York River.
It's
going
to leave some slime on you.
The Hudson.
The Hudson. It's going to leave some nice little gross stuff on you. So, yeah, he crashes into the ocean, or it crashes into the river, and they say, go search the water, make sure, like, he didn't escape. And
everybody's like, no, he's probably dead. We don't.
They don't really
Can't we
follow
just
through on that.
assume?
He's fine.
Did you see that crash? He's definitely gone. So yeah, they just assume he's gone, and the next day the peace treaty signing happens. Jameson's sitting there with his other reporter photographer, and in sneaks in Peter Parker, ready to take his Pulitzer Prize winning photo. And he pulls out his camera, and Jameson's like, how did you get here? He's like, I always have my ways. He's very, very confident as Peter Parker. And he pulls out a camera and very suddenly reveals it's not Peter Parker, because this camera turns out to be a giant, like, it's more than a gun. This is like a missile launcher that launches some sort of laser bullet. Yeah.
And somebody has to light the fuse in the back of the camera.
And he launches it, but just before he's about to hit the two signing the peace treaty, Spider-Man jumps in and tackles.
Oh, thank God.
The Chameleon down, and they have a nice little fight.
And he finally breaks the belt.
Yes.
Yes.
He punches him, not below the belt, in the
Right.
fucking
The
belt.
belt.
He punches the belt. The Chameleon's powers are completely gone. He's devastated, and the Chameleon's reign on terror on world peace is finally over.
For now.
And as far as we know, those peace treaties, they get signed. We cut to Spider-Man, like, on top of a building as he chills, protecting the neighborhood. And he's complaining that, like, everyone's not supportive of him and how he always saves the day. And Nick
Someone-
Fury-
Great ending to the episode.
Someone told him thank you, and he was like, "Oh my God, no one has ever told me thank you
Nick
before in my
Fury.
life."
Nick Fury,
Nick
flies
Fury.
by and is like,
That's
"Thank
right.
you for, like, all your hard work." And he's like, "Wow, I've never been thanked for this job ever."
It was
He's like,
weird
did
to
he
watch
say
him
thanks?
be thanked and then have one tear come out of that white part of his costume. That's the eye. Disgusting, actually.
Drips down his cheek. Yeah, he's very a little emo in his feelings at the end, but Nick Fury saves his day by, like, revealing that he is grateful for him finally catching the Chameleon.
If he's
And
not going
that-
to get the respect, Mac, he's definitely going to get the girl, right?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, with that power move before, because the very next scene is Peter Parker answering his home's front door to a very, very upset Mary Jane, who yells at him for not showing up to her Shakespeare performance and tells him to never kiss her like that again. And Peter Parker is stunned at his door, completely shocked, and then finally realizing what must have happened, that there's been this, shape-shifting doppelganger running around New York City.
Completely shucked as in, like, he's saying aw shucks, not like he was like a crab leg or
Yeah.
or a corn.
Aw shucks. Yeah, he's saying aw shucks, and I can't tell if he's more devastated that Mary Jane's mad at him or that he somehow kissed her without actually kissing her.
Yeah.
I think he's messed up by how into it he is. That he's like, oh no, I'm one of those guys. Bad
it makes
news,
sense,
everybody.
but oh no.
Oh man, it's gonna be so complicated and
Should've
icky.
seen this coming.
We have a show in the Best of the Year comedy bracket and drama bracket that both handle those two things.
Yeah,
So,
those guys.
those types of people.
So yeah, Mary Jane runs off. He tries to chase her down and be like, I can't really explain it, but you got to listen to me. And
accidentally breaks her back.
Shit, hold on. That was Chameleon. I gotta go.
Do over.
And then like a pan out as if this is a sitcom, as if like
yeah.
it just like goes above the
There's like
neighborhood.
they just zoom out of them running down the street, and that's the end credits right there. All right, that was this week's episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series. But before we wrap up this whole thing, we've got to get into the Webbies. We've got to give this show some awards, and I've got to give some points for the best nice little awards. So we're going to dive right in. And Katelynn, I'm going to call on you for this first one. I would like to know what you thought the most 90s thing of this episode was.
Most 90s thing, obviously, is going to be Nick Fury is white.
Dude, in the 90s, so many people were white.
That guy was white as hell, had a flat top.
It's wild. But yeah,
we
that's
just
my most
thought that
90s
was
thing.
totally normal, too.
Yeah.
We were nonplussed.
Didn't phase anyone. All right, Ryan, what is your most 90s thing?
My most 90s thing is how Spidey Sense works, which I don't know if we've seen this before. It works differently in every single format of Spider-Man storytelling. But in this one, it cuts in the background is like the most 90s like chaos and pictures, and then it's the colors. It's like the teal and the aqua. And like,
If
it's
you
like
had a
all the colors
bedspread in
of
the
suits that
90s,
Larry Sanders wore.
it's like the pattern that was on most bedspreads in the 80s
Exactly,
and 90s
yeah.
is behind
It's like a
his
Taco Bell in there.
Yeah, also like arcade floor patterns, carpet patterns.
Hell yeah,
Same pattern
hell yeah.
behind his head. All right. My most 90s thing was that the 2 times the Spider-Man gets gassed by the Chameleon, he talks about the dangers of secondhand smoke, which is
Yeah.
like so dare coded. It just
Oh my God.
it felt very 90s. But Katelynn, you're going to win that one because
Yeah.
that is very clearly the winner. I'm going to go ahead and give you 10 points.
Yay.
All right, Ryan, let's have you start off the next one. What is the best Web-Zinger or pun from this episode?
It was dangerous secondhand smoke. Like, Peter, shut the fuck up. People love secondhand smoke. It's what keeps the world going round. Nobody wants to hear your bullshit. But no, it was so... This is what I hate about mostly Deadpool comics over Spider-Man comics, is just like jamming in this stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
And so he has to stop, and he's getting Goo-Ga gassed, or whatever we called it before, and he has to be like, oh, secondhand smoke, and then he falls to the ground.
And he
You
references
don't always
like
have to be on.
Yeah.
cigarette smoke and then also the like taxi, like car carbon monoxide.
Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, that's my New York award, McKenna. So
Oh,
we'll
so
get to that
sorry.
later.
I can't have you quote that yet, but you'll hear it soon. Yeah, he's got to reference both. Katelynn, what is your best Web-Zinger or pun from this episode?
The best zinger, which is just, I think, the best line, which is, it does pay to have for shoddy journalism, which is what Peter Parker, or what, either Peter Parker or Spider-Man says to J. Jonah Jameson, and
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man says it, yeah.
Peter Parker would never
It's-
dare to speak to Jameson that
You're so
way.
right.
But
It was so beautiful to see him spat in his
And then
boss's face.
the craziest thing, I watched this viral video the other day, and it's kind of old, but it's of this boomer freaking out at a hairstylist, and she's like, you can't talk to people like that. You can't talk to people like that, the hairstylist. And then she's like, Karen or whatever, I'm going to do your hair, but you have to stop talking to people like that. And then Karen fucking takes a swing at the hairstylist.
Oh.
So when Spider-Man says that to J. Jonah Jameson, they're on like a rooftop.
Yeah.
And he fucking goes to take a swing at Spider-Man. Like,
Wow.
Don't
and then
do
he
that,
just dives
boomers.
backwards off of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Guess it finally pays to do shoddy journalism. Bye. Just dives away.
Bye-bye.
Katelynn, we had the same one. I loved that moment. I really enjoyed that. So you're going to get another 5 points.
Wow.
Ryan, I'm going to give you a chance to catch up. I know you just went first last, but I need you to give me the best thing that Cyber Sprout does.
Oh my God, Mac. Well, Cybersprout is clearly. It's just like when I think about it, it's like their design experts are well versed in digital strategy and elegant design, combining the two masterfully. And if I had to say off the top of my head, they work hand in hand with you. They focus on collaboration and goal-driven design to help make sure your website reaches the right customers.
That's a pretty impressive thing that they do. That's going to be hard to beat. Katelynn, do you have a best thing that Cybersprout does better than Ryan's?
Well, I really love how they handle like all the maintenance on the website, and especially for websites that are WordPress and stuff. So cool that they are able to do that for you, because they are able to like handle the security, maintenance, backups, and speed optimizations. That's freaking wild. They even migrate your website for you. That's my favorite thing.
They'll migrate it, so they'll pull it to an easier to use space.
Yep, it's really cool. I love Cybersprout.
That's truly impressive. Well, you heard it here. Those awards were pretty good. And that is all for the helping you build the best website. That's cybersprout.net, your partner for the digital world. Ryan, I really like the facts that you gave about Cybersprout. So I'm going to go ahead and give you 5 points for just boosting up all that company offers. We've got 2 more Webbies to give out. Katelynn, what is the best kung fu grip or power that we saw used in this episode?
I think obviously the best use of power here is poor journalism. And if we didn't have that, the Chameleon wouldn't have been caught.
Making the world go round.
Mm-hmm. I think if people weren't bad at their jobs, like we wouldn't have this whole episode, and we wouldn't have caught the Chameleon. So
that's a fair point. This whole episode hinges on poor journalism, and
I'm going to tell that to my boss in my next review.
As a journalist.
As a journalist.
Just so you know, poor journalism is better.
It saves the world.
You're welcome.
Stop supervillains. It just really is helpful. All right, Ryan, what is your best kung fu grip or power?
So many options here. Punch to the belt is amazing. Saving the helicopter. But I have to go with when Spider-Man escapes, they're in like a building hallway, and he escapes from all the S.H.I.E.L.D. members, and there's about 8 feet of hallway left. And he flips over and over again on the floor 4 times in 8 feet. It looks like he's playing a video game he does not know how to play. Like he's just hitting the wrong buttons. That's my Spidey.
I keep tucking and rolling. I keep tucking and rolling. I just want to run. Have done
it's
that.
Like, what is it? Zelda? Hey.
Macho man.
My best power is that he's Spider-Man has webs. He can fly, he can catch people, but he only manages to use his webs to stop people from like moving around. Against the 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who are trying to stop him, never once manages to use them on the Chameleon until the very end. So yeah, he's got these webs, but he never remembers to use them. But I do love that he stops the guys are on the same side as him. In the action.
If you web up the Chameleon, episode is like just over there.
Yeah.
Chameleon's
you can't
like,
do that.
I can't move.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck.
All you need to even do is web up his little belt buckle. Like you don't even need to web his
There was one blip that I swear to God I saw where Spider-Man webbed up the Chameleon, and then you heard a director go cut, and then it like there was a
they just tore it off real fast.
The Chameleon was free. Yeah.
They're like that didn't happen. Never mind. Honestly, creativity alone, Dougal, you get another. We're gonna go 7 points there.
I'm fucking crushing it today. I like books being our person.
Oh, do you?
Before your pouty voice, Ryan, I was gonna offer you some points too because I did like your somersaults, but the whining at the end just knocked them right out of me. Can't even offer them anymore. So sorry.
Offer me points.
I don't think you'd appreciate my pity points anyway. So, like, do you really want those?
No, and I was taught at an early age, don't lose good. No, don't win good, lose bad.
Yeah. Best way to go down. All right, we are on our final Webbie. Ryan, what is your award for I'm Walking Here, or as we also know it, the most New York thing that happens in this episode?
Spider-Man says, and like there's a lot of stuff going on in the room, like he needs to get off his ass and go do something, but instead he stops and says, this guy is going to ruin my lungs faster than if I'm in a car tailgating a Manhattan taxi. In the meantime, the bad guy escapes. Like, 2 people are murdered.
He's got to get that PSA about how bad taxi driving and the poisoning is for your lungs.
But Mac, if I could, my actual award is somebody says they're like, Chameleon's going to ruin New York City. And then somebody else says, New York City. And then I said, at my house, that really chaps my hide. That's the New York award tonight.
There you go.
That's pretty good, too. Katelynn, what's your most New York thing I'm walking here award?
Mine is going to be for Bruce, the gargoyle, which is, we haven't talked about him, but Spider-Man's friend who he goes to, it's just a gargoyle on a building. And he names him Bruce. And he tells him all of his shit. And he's the one who talks to Bruce and tells him how he's not ever thanked. And he's so happy that Nick Fury finally said thank you. So it's got to be my boy gargoyle, Bruce.
This feels like a Paris thing. Someone hiding and talking to the gargoyles. Like
you hear Bruce saying,
Notre
1,000
Dame.
more years and that curse is over.
Interesting.
Not be here anymore.
Crazy. I didn't even think that they were, the same. That would be wild to think that.
That the Hunchback of Notre Dame was in New York and not there.
That's crazy. Who would have thought that? Definitely not me.
All gargoyles are actually the same.
All
gargoyles live in New York.
Yeah, they just go from building to building.
It didn't just come to me right now that was Notre Dame is indeed in Paris and not in New York. Wild. Interesting.
I'm glad you broke it down for all of our listeners who may not have made that distinction.
Yeah. That's what Mike always says. I was stupid for the help of our listeners.
Yeah. This was for all of you.
Notre Dame plays in New York sometimes. So that's probably why you're confused.
Yeah. That's very easy to confuse. My most New York thing was when Spider-Man and Jameson are taken up to the S.H.I.E.L.D. hovercraft, and it's revealed that it's just a satellite, but it's like most satellites are real far out. Like you can't see them except maybe like a blinking light occasionally from Earth. But it's like when Spider-Man's looking out of it, he can see the tops of skyscrapers. It is close to the surface of New York, and not a single New Yorker is fazed by this thing floating in the sky right above them.
Do you know what I was thinking about today? Is New York the best sequel of all time? Because York is probably a thing, but we don't fucking...
York has nothing.
Yeah, I feel like New York has certainly...
It's overshadowed York, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is York doing?
No one's writing songs
Making
about York.
Patties?
No one's saying that they can't wait to visit York.
The York version of Alicia Keys singing in York.
In York. York Terriers, Not the best.
Oh, damn.
Not the best.
A subpar terrier.
Just low on the totem pole of all terriers. All right. So New York, the best sequel to ever be. The most New York thing. Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and give you that one. I'll give you another 5 points.
That's
for
not
our
enough,
Webbies.
Max. I need more points than that.
You do. Unfortunately, you don't get them. But you do get another 5. As you pointed out, though, it's not enough. Katelynn, you got 23 points. Ryan, you did end with 10. So, Katelynn, you have won our
the Webbies.
All the Webbies. You've won. You won the show, essentially.
Yay.
So, congratulations. In honor of winning, can you tell us about some websites?
For fucking sure I can. You can go to a really good website. It's called Amazon. That's where you can buy some stuff. But you shouldn't just go to Amazon. You should go to popfilter.co/Amazon. Because that's how you should, or you should go to Amazon.com/popfilter.
Nope.
You had it right the first time.
Yes. I obviously did that on purpose. I was testing you. popfilter.co/Amazon. Go there to shop and get all your stuff. And then also you should just go to popfilter.co and check out all the podcasts that are on there and all the fun stuff that's on there.
Thank you, Ryan. Katelynn mentioned other podcasts. What other podcasts could our listeners maybe check out?
Well, you could, of course, listen to Movie of the Year, where right now the 4 of us and others, Mike and Cassie, are trying to figure out what is the single greatest thing of any given 2023 as far as albums, movies, and TV shows go. This week we released The Century of the Year, where we all talked about 100 facts in 100 minutes. Always the greatest show of any given year, that given year, 2023. It's called Movie of the Year.
Thank you. Yeah, you should definitely check that out. If you forgot or you need a constant reminder that's a show you should tune into, you should go ahead and follow Your Pop Filter on Instagram. That is probably the best social media place to interact with this podcast and movie of the year. And they post fun little clips from these episodes just to remind you how great these shows are. If you want to get a hold of us, say what you liked, loved, couldn't stop laughing about at most recent Century of the Year, you should contact us at contact@popfilter.co. And
nailed it.
that is how you'll get a hold of us. Next week, something is happening. Ryan, why don't you tell the listeners what's happening, and we'll go ahead and get out of their ears.
Guys, we are very prepared to become a show that is all about animation, but with X-Men 97 coming next month and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Mutant Mayhem sequel coming to an animated show very soon. But next week is a live-action show called Resident Evil Season 3. No, Resident Alien Season 3. Basically, it's been gone for 2 years, but I believe 2 years ago it swept the shushies, won every award. This is our favorite show. We are so excited. So we get to talk about TV next week. As opposed to this week where we talked about television.
Is that the one that has Alan Tudyk in it?
It's Pop Filter Hall of Famer Alan Tudyk.
Will I understand it if I haven't seen Alan One Dick?
He's ready. He's ready.
Brilliant.
Chameleon
joke.
strikes again.
He's fucking ready.
As our exit, it's probably a good thing I didn't bring on any other supervillains for this show. For Ryan, I'm Katelynn, I'm Greg, I'm Mack, and this has been Superhero Show.